up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks live stream edition. And you know, when we got the Red Cup, we're about to spill some truth. And I'm here with my girl Kelly. How are you, Kelly?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It was a good weekend. How was your weekend?
It was really good. I didn't do much. Just streamed, hung out.
Just streamed and hung out.
Yeah, just chilled in the house.
Oh, all right. Well, you know, this weekend, didn't I tell you the last time we had a live stream that the weekends have been getting heavy? I don't know why the weekends have been getting heavy with news, but it's been getting heavy with news. Like everybody's breaking something over the weekend. And then Monday, I got to try to fit everything in. So we're going to try that today. So, but I first wanted to start with just a little humor here. Okay. So, as everyone knows, the mainstream media is on Donald Trump's neck as it's been since 2016, okay? Or maybe 2015, 2014, because, yeah. But everyone knows that the mainstream media does not like Donald Trump. They barely tell the truth about Donald Trump. And anything and everything they can get him on, they do. But I wanted to come on and just bring a little humor really quick to our live stream. So let's start here. Here we go.
The presidential pardon was originally meant to grant the president the power to temper justice with mercy. It was not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their corrupt practices. I don't have a problem with Biden pardoning his son. He should have pardoned him. The crazies are coming, right? But to me, it's like, pardon more.
You have got to be shitting me.
So I thought that was so great because it shows the hypocrisy of the mainstream media. Like how she was talking about Donald Trump and his kids, right? When he was leaving office in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were talking about, they heard that he was going to do preemptive pardon. What is it called? Preemptive pardon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, preemptive pardon. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm. And they thought that he was going to do it for his kids and all of his family members and all of this stuff. So they decided to go ahead and, you know, use that against Donald Trump, right? And say, okay, well, he shouldn't, you know, be allowed to do this. But then she turns around and says it's perfectly fine for Biden.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your thoughts on that really quick?
It reminds me of that old adage, what is it? Do as I say, not as I do, or good for what's good for
the goose, something like that.
Something. Yeah. But they always do that.
When can't get food again. That's my favorite one.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I saw that, it spoke directly to the hypocrisy of the mainstream media, especially Joyless Reed and MSNBC. And speaking of, you know, NBC, we have Donald Trump who went on Meet the Press, and we're going to get into that really quick. But before we get into that, I want to get into a couple breaking news stories that happened today and earlier today. So I want to get into Daniel Penny first. So let's go ahead and get into that. And if you don't know, you know who Daniel Penny is, he has been on trial the last few weeks for the murder of a young man on the subway. Now, this is what they're calling it, okay? They thought that this young man was just clearly some type of enemy of the state because he decided to help out on a subway in New York City. I've lived in New York City for 4 years. And those 4 years I lived up north, I can tell you right now, you're scared as I don't know what on the New York subway system.
Mm-hmm.
So to have anyone in New York help out, because people act like they don't see you in New York. I can tell you that right now. Like they act like they don't see you, they don't talk to you. They're rude most of the time. So to have people that actually want to help in New York City is like a dream come true. And then, you want people to help out, but if you're going to prosecute them for trying to help, then where's the, where are you going to get people that want to help?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're already struggling. New York is high priced as it is. No one's going to want to help out. So I thought the whole case, trying to bring this case against this young man, was just ridiculous in the first place, because he definitely helped out a whole lot of people that felt afraid on a subway in New York City that doesn't have that many cops anyway, because they're all stretched thin. They don't have a big force as it is for that huge city. So I want to get into that really quick. Here we go. Bring this up here. Here we go.
The former Marine charged in the chokehold death of Jordan Neely on a New York City subway last year was found not guilty of criminally negligent homicide by a Manhattan jury on Monday. This comes after a judge dismissed a second, more serious second-degree manslaughter charge last week after the jury could not come to a verdict on the count they were hung. Gloria Pazmino, tell us the latest.
Well, we are getting a live reaction right from inside that courtroom. My colleague Lauren Del Valle has been sitting there as the verdict was read. Not guilty. Visible smiles from Daniel Penny, who has just been acquitted on that second charge, the criminally negligent homicide. At the same time, the father of Jordan Neely, the victim in this case, escorted out of the room after he had an outburst with an expletive inside that courtroom as the verdict was being read. Court officers stepping in to escort Mr. Zachary Carter out of the room. Andrew Zachary, as his name, I should say. We are also hearing audible reaction directly in the park behind me. Protesters have been here all morning, and they are now starting to chant loudly in response to this verdict. Today, for the first time in the past 6 weeks since we've been here, Daniel Penny also had some supporters in this crowd, but now we are hearing the chanting. In fact, it was something that his defense attorney tried to declare, ask for a mistrial on this morning because of the presence of loud supporters, which he believed could be heard by the jury inside the courtroom as they were deliberating. They are chanting, "No justice, no peace," which can be heard from inside that courtroom, according to my colleague Lauren Del Valle. So for now, 6 weeks after the fact, Daniel Penny acquitted on the second charge, criminally negligent homicide. Days.
So what's your thoughts on that? He is acquitted.
I think that is the right decision, and I actually thought he never should have been charged in the first place. I was really outraged that charges were brought up against him. Just overall, I thought it was going to be, it would set a precedent where people would not want to stand up and help when they would see their neighbors, their neighbors in distress. The guy was yelling, saying that he didn't care if he was going to go to jail. He was fine with going to prison. He was saying, he was making threats. He was a mentally ill person that was, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the toxicology said he was high on drugs. And this man has made good on these threats before. He had assaulted a 67-year-old woman leaving the metro before he flashed himself to a woman. I mean, I'm going to say it. This guy was a straight up menace. And I think it's really, I understand the father being upset that his son died, but, it was an accident. And like I said in my other video, where were you when your son was living on the streets homeless and got these 42 charges?
Yeah, and that's the whole thing about all of this, really, right? Because you're hearing mostly from the father, because of course it came out that his mother had passed when he was, I think, in his early teens, maybe his preteens, and so he didn't have a mother, but he also didn't grow up with the father. So I'm just like, where has the father been? Like, why are you just coming out now when your son is making national news?
Yeah.
And it's also, and I believe that two things can be true at once. Like we've talked about this, and I think that you can be, you can have mental health issues. You can also have trauma, right? Which he probably does have from his passing of his mother, and being arrested multiple times, living where he lived. Like I'm pretty sure he does have a lot of things that have affected him. But as an adult, we have to, have enough sense to recognize when we need to go get help, right? And instead of turning to drugs or alcohol, to try to, mend those things that are bothering us. Because a lot of people do that. They're depressed about something. It's something going on mentally, and they turn to certain things, right? They don't have any help, and they turn to those things, and it just ends up being worse, right? Because now you have something that's just, really, really, drugs and alcohol can fuel you doing more criminal things because you're not in your right mind. You weren't already in your right mind. So, I think that's one thing. And then the family, if this is your family member that you love so much, then you knew that he had a mental health issue. Why not help turn him into a mental institution, especially after he's been arrested so much?
I'm very much about
only pushing for the state to do something about it, right? Or why do you wait until there is a Daniel Penny and something like that happening for you to actually say, hey, my family member has a problem?
I 100% agree. I'm one of those people that's like, keep that same energy. If you didn't rock with me when I was alive, don't rock with me while I'm dead. You wasn't around when, like I said, he got those 42 charges, which, by the way, if he had been in jail instead of the last charge he was, let out, he would still be alive today. So if you want to if they want to be upset with someone, they could be upset with the state, for letting your family member on the street that is, has clearly mental health issues. But yeah, I completely disagree. I mean, look, I can understand you being like you losing your child, you being upset. I don't agree because the father, I think, wants to sue Daniel Penny because that's what I read on the news.
Yeah.
And I don't.
And I'm actually going to play what the family said.
Okay.
Well, after this, I'm going to play. So what I'm going to play right now is the protesters. All right. I want to show everyone what the protesters were actually doing when they found out that Daniel Penny had been set free and found not guilty. So I want to show you guys that, and then we'll move on from there. Here we go.
Wait, Come around.
He was hungry! He was killed for being poor! No justice, shame on you! No justice, no peace!
This is fucking sick. They don't give a goddamn about us. I didn't hurt nobody or kill no goddamn body. But I did more time than that man did for killing somebody. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace. If we don't get no justice, they don't get no peace. No justice, no peace. Not get my vote. You don't know you want us. Where's America great? Where's America great? Where's America great? Mr. Donald, Mr. Trump, where's America great? Only for the white people? Only for the white children?
So, as you can see, that was the chaotic scene over there at the courthouse. So, I want to get your thoughts on that, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Mika, I can be a mean person. That was utterly ridiculous. That was such a ridiculous display.
Oh my God.
Where? First of all, was this today?
That's today. Yeah.
Why are y'all not?
Like, I literally had to squeeze that in because it just happened, and so all this footage just came out. So
these people need to get a job. Go get a job. Go to work, because you are out here protesting. And let's keep it a buck. All life is precious, but this was a homeless man that was a straight up menace. Again, 42 charges from 2013 to 2023. Like I said, if New York was not a freaking catch and release city, that guy would have been incarcerated, would have been in jail where he should have been, instead of being on the subway threatening people. If any one of those people, and I'm going to say it, especially those white women, if you was a white woman on that train with that black guy cutting up, threatening people, again, this man punched a 67-year-old woman in the face. All right. I think you would have a tune. And I think of stuff like this. If I was on that train, I would have been scared. You couldn't pay me to ride the New York train, the New York public train.
No.
You couldn't pay me to do it. But
I was in college when I did.
I'm sure you hated it every time. I'm sure you hated it every time. So again, y'all, it's real easy to sit outside and complain and say, well, he should have got convicted and blah, 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 blah. You would not be singing that tune if you was on that train underground with no escape. What a crazy person doing. Again, this man flashed his penis in front of a woman, and he's made good on these threats before, assaulting a elderly woman. And if I was that elderly woman's family member, all of those people would have irritated me. And as far as the black guy shouting about he's done more time than Daniel Penny, well, you probably was doing something you shouldn't have been doing, and that's why you got the time you got. So maybe don't break it off.
You do the crime, you
do the crime, you gotta do the time. And I'm not even one of them people.
Or as I heard somebody say when they were talking about Marilyn Mosby, if you don't know how to do the crime, you will do this.
Hey, and she knew what she was doing, because she was a daggone lawyer. But nevertheless, I
feel like,
I'm just saying, all of them people protesting. Where were you? And I said this on my video. Where was y'all protesting for little Ivory Smith? That was a little black girl that died in a car accident because an illegal immigrant who was drunk driving.
Oh, you know how I feel about Black Lives Matter. They don't care about. They don't care about actual black people.
They're never around
actual black people.
They only are there.
If they cared about actual black people, it would always be Black Lives Matter, whether it comes from the hands of white people or whether it comes from the hands of black people. You would be in the community saying, hey, we can't scream this when y'all keep doing this to the community the most.
And I'll even say this. I'm okay with you protesting racism
if
it was a justified, if it was something racially, if there was a racial component, I'm not mad at that. But why don't they know it was the two other people that assisted Daniel Penny were of color? One was black. I know one was Hispanic. I think the other
one was Hispanic. And that's the thing, right? Because in New York is a very diverse city, right? So you have all kinds of people there. So and they all live amongst each other. Okay. Now, if you want to talk about class and wealth, that's another topic. right? Because you have your affluent parts in New York, and New York State too, you know. But the thing that we're talking about here is the fact that people want to talk about Daniel Penny as, you know, and the victim Jordan Neely as white and black, when it just happened to be that he was white and he's black.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. And again,
that's the only racial component. Because outside of that, I don't care what color the man is. Get his ass if you know he's a threat to people.
Mika, it was not just white people on the train. That's the thing.
No, it was all kinds of people on that train.
It was all kinds of races. I saw the interview.
Yeah.
I could even see it if it was only white people on the train. I might be like, well, you know, maybe you should have minded his business. That's which I wouldn't really feel that way. But he was protecting black people.
But you can, but if you're in one of those type of places where it's quote unquote only, you know, white people, you might can get off, which I really don't. I still side eye, you know, a lot of that stuff. But you might can get certain things off. But this is New York City, okay? Everybody is in New York City, and you're going to tell me that just because this man happens to be white, that we have to, you know, call him, you know, certain names, a white supremacist, or this and that, and then they're like, oh well, the people on that jury are this and that, and I'm like, aren't you supposed to get a jury of your peers?
Yeah. And again,
so you know, and honestly and truly, I don't even think it was a good jury of his peers, because there were more women on that jury than there were men.
Oh, really? What was the makeup? It was like seven?
Yeah, I think it was seven men. No, 7 women. I think it was more. Yeah, seven women, if I'm not mistaken. But there were more women on the jury when I heard the news broadcast of it. And to have more women than men when he's a man and he's a white man, right? And it's sad, because even if you're a white man that's not racist, right? You're still going to be seen that way. Just like, you know, how they're saying, okay, well, black men are seen a certain way. The same way you don't want to be seen a certain way. I'm pretty sure, you know, a young white guy who, if you're asking them, are they racist? And they're like, no. And doesn't have a history of it, right? Doesn't have a history of anything racial in their past that you can point to, other than he's just a white man in America. You understand what I'm saying? It's just how we are treating each other. It's like, come on. If we're going to say we want things to change, we have to change it, period.
Yeah.
It's the same argument with the feminists, you know? Oh, well, we don't want the patriarchy, but you want the matriarchy. You want the women to rule. You don't want equality. You really don't. Right. So the last thing on this case I want to get into is I want to get into a little bit of what the family had to say. All right. So here we go on that.
I'm Dante Mills. We're devastated, upset, angry, hurt. Over and over again, we keep coming to the system, asking the system to let us know that our lives have value. Jordan Neely was choked to death by someone who didn't care. People was telling him to stop. Last week, the jury they couldn't decide on the top charge, but they come back this week and they give up on us. The family's hurt. I promised this family that we would get justice. We're still going to do that. We're going to move forward with our suit. The district attorney did a good job, but the jury in this case let us down. So now here's what we have. We have a call to action, because you have to do something with this anger and with this rage. Our call to action is to take care of each other. We can't rely on outside people. If we see someone asking for food, we have to take the responsibility to give it to them. If we see someone cold, to give them a coat. If we see someone going through something, to ask them if they're okay. That's how we help each other, because we can't rely on the system to do it for us. And clearly, if we get to this point, it's too late. We have to be there for each other, and that's our call to action. Everybody that's pissed off at this verdict, I challenge you to go outside today and help one person. That's my challenge. If you're angry, if you're hurt, go help one person. That's how we beat the system. That's how we turn this around, by being there for each other.
My son didn't have to go through this. I didn't have to go through this either. It hurts. Really, really hurts. What are we going to do, people? What's going to happen to us now? I had enough of this. The system was rigged. Come on, people. Let's do something about this.
Let's do something about it. Too often.
Okay. So the lawyer had more to say than the dad, but nevertheless, what's your thoughts on the family's statements?
Okay, I'm going to be as sympathetic as I can be. So as far as the the father, I'm sure losing your son is hard, but the way I see it, you lost your son a long time ago. Your son been dead to you a long time ago when he was living on the streets, on drugs and homeless. I'm going to be honest. If I have a brother, if my brother was out on the streets, homeless, I couldn't imagine. If I let my brother be homeless, if my parents let my brother be homeless, you know, schizophrenia, drug addict, and we're just letting him out there to you know, fend for himself, he would already be dead to us. I'm just being honest, because we would have did something. We would have done, and maybe he did, you know, but at the end of the day, your son was living where he was living. He was homeless, blah 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 blah. You had you either washed your hands of him, you have moved on, which it is what it is. Sometimes with, and I know this with the drug addicts, sometimes you have to, you know, cut them off. You have to do that. Either get help, or we gotta be done with it. But that's when they have died. You know, I'm just, from what I've seen. Now, as far as what the lawyer has said, I actually like the fact that he said this is a call to action. Help someone. If you were feeling that, you know, help someone. I you know, you always say I'm a Christian. I do, you know, I believe that. But it was two things that he said. He said, we can't rely on the system to do anything. Correct. Black people, not you Black people watching this, because you're probably more than already conservative, but a lot of Black people have this victim mentality where they need the system to care for them or to do for them. Do for yourself. Do for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, now if you want to, now do we have things in place? Yes, we pay taxes. We have programs that should assist people within reason, but that, just that mindset, when he said that, I said, that's the problem right there. That's the problem. Y'all thinking that everybody's supposed to do for you, do for yourself. But that was my analysis on that.
Yeah, and honestly and truly, he kind of touched on it. Like, we have to start, you know, doing for this in our community. Yeah. That's what it should always be. Like, you're the closest to that community. Why aren't you doing anything about it? This is exactly what I said about the whole issue with the what is that? Black Lives Matter, because they're only there when it seems to be an outside person. But Chicago needs help.
Yes.
And they needed help when it was Black people destroying those communities. They need help when there's, I guess, white people destroying those communities. Take that with a grain of salt.
A white person
take that with a grain of salt. I'm just going, and then
no, that's what I was going to say. Statistically, a white person is more likely to be the victim of a crime on the hands of a white person.
That's why nobody believed Jussie Smollett.
Oh yeah,
Nobody believes Smollett.
Yeah,
I know his name is Smollett, but I call him Smollett because that was a smooth lie that he told. You know, with that whole it's cold outside. First of all,
coldest night and
no, there is absolutely no white people coming on that side of Chicago in the middle of what was it, an Arctic blast?
It was the coldest. Okay. It was the coldest night of the
get
the year.
A man that is clearly light, so light.
Well, he's half white. He is half white.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
He's half white.
Okay, like I'm just looking at him like you out of all the black people they could have chose.
Well, you know he's a gay Tupac, Mika. Didn't you hear?
Out of all the black people they could have chose,
he's the gay Tupac.
Jussie Smollett with the curly hair and the fair skin. Boy, get on out of here. Talking about is this MAGA country on the south side of Chicago? Stop.
That was. When that
and so many people got mad at me on Instagram. Oh my God. So many people got mad at me on Instagram. It was like, why don't you believe this? Because it don't make sense. I ain't never seen no white. I was surprised that when I heard the brother's story, I was surprised that they were even like, you know, we thought he wasn't coming because we were waiting like 15 minutes. Man, 2 Nigerians in the cold. Saying, oh, he must have offered y'all some money because 2 Nigerians in the cold. No, I cannot do this.
Girl, that was a mess.
I cannot do this. It is too cold. No, ma'am. So I was surprised
when he left the noose on. I was like,
man, and that was the lightest little noose I ever seen in my life.
Girl, you
just decided.
I didn't say nothing online. I was too scared. I said,
I did. I did. I don't care. I
was weaker then.
I said, who the hell believes this? And they was like, oh, you just don't want to side with black people. Who is black? Jussie Smollett is not black.
He's mixed.
You can call him black if you want to, but Smollett been living the life of, I'm not gonna say, but you know what I'm talking about. So, you know, I'm like, please, black. Okay, out of all the black people they could choose on the south side of Chicago in the cold, they're going to choose you. I said, this don't make no sense. And then they poured bleach. The bleach made it to your skin without freezing?
This is what I thought. Because I remember. I thought to myself, oh, dang, I dropped something. I thought to myself, I said, he's not that famous. I said, why would they target him?
You know why, though? You know why? Because you know why? And I just didn't feel like doing a story on it.
It was totally.
But no, you know why? He's related to Kamala.
I know. Judge Joe Brown said that. He said through marriage, but he didn't explain the connection. I want to know the
oh man, they all out there in California. When I tell you, it's the rabbit hole goes deep, but I didn't feel like explaining it. So I just left it alone. And his little case got overturned. I just left it because like I didn't feel like really hashing the whole Smollett. And so I was just like, yeah, Smollett can go ahead and, you know, and his attorney was up there like, yeah, you know, I'm glad, you know, the truth is out. No, sir, you got off on a technicality. Shut up.
They're all grifters. BLM, Jussie Smollett, the DA of Chicago. They're all a bunch of grifters. Like, knock y'all.
Exactly. So yeah, I was just like, please, y'all can miss me with that. But anyway, we're gonna move forward. I just want to again thank everyone for watching, who's watching, and as always, ways to support is at $officially Mika. That's Cash App, $officially Mika. And if you want to support during the show, you can support via the super chat or the super thanks down in the comments. So now I want to move on to our other breaking news story that happened earlier today. Is the I think it's the manhunt for the CEO killer.
Oh, right.
So they have an update on that. So I want to get into that really quick because I thought this was very interesting because the CEO the CEO story is a little funny to me, right? And I'm not talking about like he ha because he's dead. It's just funny to me because he's leaving little breadcrumbs everywhere, right? The monopoly money, the situation with the book bag. They got people fishing for this. He got caught at Port Authority, and I'm just like, how is he eluding the police?
It seems really fake to me. This
like his face is everywhere, But I just, I was like, okay, I'll follow it, whatever. So I want to get into this, and then we'll give our thoughts here.
I want to give an update now in the killing of the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. A man who matches the description of the gunman has now been taken into custody in the state of Pennsylvania. Alexis McAdams has the update. Alexis.
Hey, Harris. Well, we never know exactly how quickly these things are going to move. All morning, I've been in Central Park as these dive teams have been doing everything they can to find what I was told was the weapon because they couldn't track it down. Now, investigators and NYPD police sources, Harris, telling Fox News that they believe they found a man who matches that same description of the gunman who killed that CEO in Midtown Manhattan. They found him at a McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Okay, that's like a 5-hour drive from where we are right now. We knew that the person of interest had possibly hopped on a bus and fled town. Now we're being told they believe they have that person of interest in Altoona, Pennsylvania. So we kind of talked about this earlier when I checked in with you. Person of interest, suspect, they're keeping it at person of interest right now, and they're just saying he matches the description. But not only does he match the description for people watching at home, he also, according to investigative sources who are telling Fox News, he had the weapon they believe was used in this murder in his pocket. So this is what happens, I'm told, from police, and it's still developing. But this person's at this McDonald's in Altoona. We've been putting these pictures out all across the country because it's been a nationwide manhunt. So they've been asking people, do you recognize this man in the photo? We want to talk to him. We think he was linked to this ongoing investigation. Well, somebody, Harris, said that McDonald's in Pennsylvania recognized him, called it into local police, and here we are right now. So if this ends up panning out and they are going to question this guy in Pennsylvania, we could have a huge break in this case. This comes as that CEO is having a private funeral right now in Minneapolis area where he was from. He was just in town for business where he was gunned down. Back out here live, the question is, what's the motive at this time? Could it be linked to his job? Yeah. What exactly
all right,
was
Alexis,
that all about?
I want to bring my team in who's with me now so we can kind of work through all of the great reporting that you've just done. A suspected.
All right. So your thoughts on that?
Okay. I don't think anything is what it seems with this case. I don't have nothing to back this up. This is just my gut instinct. They could look. Sometimes I go off the rails. You know me, girl. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. But I just like how everything played out. He knew what time the guy was going to be there. Just so happened no police were there. It was so many, this is a
he knew the, what do you call it? He knew the shift change, and he knew, how NYPD worked, and
this
so that's definitely not an amateur.
This to me, this was an organized hit, and I don't see an amateur being in Pennsylvania when they just committed a very publicized crime that's made national news, and you only go to Pennsylvania. Like, it's just something. I don't believe this is the guy. Like, I just don't. Like, I don't know. I'm crazy, maybe, but
they're talking about they're talking about they have the gun, like a gun that's similar to exactly what they are looking for in New York. They're talking about he has like multiple IDs, and apparently the hotel room or the board he stayed in, he used fake ID for.
I don't believe. I think someone is setting someone up. I'm sorry. Maybe I watch too much movies, but chat. Let me know. Maybe I'm tripping. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't like that this is someone's real life, right? But my interest in this manhunt is piqued because it goes to show you that if you understand how the mechanics of the city work, you understand how someone's schedule it. That was the first thing to me. How does he know his schedule?
And wasn't he scheduled to
How
testify?
did he know he would be in New York in the first place? Like I've never seen like regular people know a CEO's schedule.
And the time when his security wasn't there, I'm pretty sure that guy has security.
Right. Well, one of the guys that where he's from, right? That does his security there. He said it's weird that he didn't have security with him, right? And I know people when they're rich or celebrities or whatever, sometimes they don't like having all that security and things like that, but they at least have one person with them.
Look, not only that, again, he was scheduled, I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, he was scheduled to testify on some insider, insider trading.
Insider trading. And our favorite girl, Nancy Pelosi. She's always in something. That's why we follow her. If you guys don't know, you can actually follow Nancy Pelosi's
investments.
Yes, you can follow those, and you can follow everything that she invests in. So she invested in this company that was used to investigate. So I'm just like, Nancy, you got to follow Nancy a lot. Nancy does a lot of insider trading. I don't know how they got Martha Stewart. I don't know how they don't get Nancy.
I don't know. She made a comment about it. She says, no, what did she say? It's free market or something.
It's free market, but she always knows.
Well, she's just a good investor, Mika. She watches the stock market.
She watch it all right.
Hey, look, I don't know. I just think it's very, very convenient. They found him so much, and with all these IDs and the this and the that, and he was so good at knowing the time. Walked up, did what he had to do, but then you just stay in Pennsylvania and you have the weapon on you, and I'm sorry, I've watched
that's my thing. Well, I already found it weird when he's throwing stuff in the trash. I'm just like,
either a professional or you're not a professional. Which one is?
Why are you doing all this stuff? Because it's almost like it's kind of like you said. They're setting it up.
It's a setup. Looks like
weird. Like, this is weird because you try to minimize your trace as much as possible. You throwing stuff in the trash, knowing that I lived in New York. It's cameras everywhere. Like, it's so many cameras, like on those streets, in the stores, outside the stores, right? I think like the park might be where you get a little sketchy because there's only so many cameras, right?
Yeah.
And they should have a lot of cameras in Central Park because so much stuff happens in that park.
They have cameras everywhere in New York. There's like,
but they don't have like a gazillion in the park, right? So I understand not being able to catch them everywhere in the park, but outside of the park. Outside of the park, it's cameras everywhere in New York, right? Which is why they have them walking down the street here, there, especially around Port Authority. But if you're a non-amateur, right? If you're an assassin, you would know this, and you would minimize all of that. So it was just weird to me that he would.
And I watched movies. I watched the movies I said I would know from watching movies and TV. Like,
it was like, so weird. Yeah, it was so weird. And I was just like, yeah, so he's leaving all of this. But that is the latest update on that, right? They have a manhunt going on and they think they have somebody. And, if it is him, shout out to that McDonald's employee, because that McDonald's employee is going to go back to, they're going to take a week off and then they're going to go back to McDonald's. I guarantee it. They're going to take a week off. They're going to make sure they can get their money, because if that leads to that, they're not only getting the money from the FBI, they're getting the money from New York as well. Because they both have rewards out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they're about to get their money. Now, I would like to know, do you have to pay taxes on rewards?
I would think so.
That's messed up.
You have to.
That's messed up.
That's
messed up. No, that should be tax-free money. I helped out in a crime. I always want to know that. I need to look that up.
I'm
I
pretty
always
sure
wanna
because you normally do.
I am such an accountant. I always want to know about the taxes.
I would think so.
So,
You have to pay
all
taxes on
right.
your winnings. You know, your winnings, you go to the casino, all
But
that
it's a
kind of stuff.
reward. I don't
I'm with
know.
you.
I would find that weird if they do. So, okay. All right. So those are the two updates from the breaking news stories that happened today. So over the weekend, Donald Trump did a story with did a interview with NBC. And it was with Meet the Press. And so Meet the Press, as always, NBC or any other mainstream media, they always have a hard line with Donald Trump. And this interview was no different. However, Donald Trump, without any notes, without pretty much anything, came, pretty prepared. And he was able to answer, a lot of questions like right spot on. He didn't flinch, any of that. But one of the things that stood out to me was the mass deportation. So I wanted to get into a little bit of that, and then we'll come back and talk about it all. Here we go.
Welcome back. Speaking on Meet the Press yesterday, President-elect Trump confirmed that he plans to follow through with mass deportations once he takes office next month. The president-elect also vowed that he would end birthright citizenship, which, remember, is something that is guaranteed through the 14th Amendment of the Constitution.
Well, I think you have to do it, and it's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws that came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. We have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is.
Let me ask you about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders are.
You're talking about separation.
Yeah, well, there are two aspects to this. Your borders are, Tom Homan said, they can be deported together. Correct. Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep I don't want to be breaking up families. So the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together, and you have to send them all back.
Even kids who are here legally?
Well, what you're going to do if they want to stay with the father? Look, we have to have rules and regulations. You can always find something out like, this doesn't work, that doesn't work.
Like you promised to end birthright citizenship on day one. Is that still your plan?
Yeah, absolutely.
The 14th Amendment, though, says that, quote, all persons born in the United States are citizens. Can you get around the 14th Amendment with an executive action?
We're going to have to get a change. We'll maybe have to go back to the people, but we have to end it.
When I say Donald Trump minces no words, he minces no words. So I want to get your thoughts on it, and then I'll give mine.
Well, to expound on what you just said about him mincing no words, isn't it great to have a president that actually answers a question, gave you a straight answer? That was great.
Yes, whether you like the answer or not.
Gave you a straight answer. Yes. So I appreciate that. This is my thoughts on it. If anyone wants to be upset about families being separated, well, not being separated, families that have children that were born on American soil and have to be deported now, I think they need to look at this current administration, with that being the Biden-Harris administration. Had they not reversed 94 regulations or, rules that Trump had signed when he was in office, had they not reversed that, we would not have an influx of illegal immigrants. So because of that influx of illegal immigrants that have come into this country, we have a very zero tolerant policy. Now, everybody got to go. You had a kid, now you got to go. Because what happened was we had the lowest border crossings under Trump. Then we got all these illegals coming here. So now the rest of the American citizens were like, hey, they all got to go. Everybody got to go. So really, in my mind, and maybe I'm tripping, chat, let me know, But in my mind, I feel like if y'all want to be mad at anybody, you need to be mad at Biden Harris, because you give an inch, they took a mile. And that's where we're at today. And I'm with Trump. People shouldn't be separating families. So they all should, you got to go with your kid. I would, if it was me.
Yep. And I'll even take it a step further, right? So you talk about birthright, right? All right. So let's say you're in the military and you have a child overseas, right? So now that child, let's say, is Germany, and they're born in Germany, right? The only way they can get dual citizenship is if the parents are American citizens.
Oh, do you mean if they're born in Germany, they would not have American citizenship? Is that what you're saying?
Right, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Your parents would have to be American citizens. So if your parents are American citizens, then you would automatically have it. Why is that any different for these people? Their parents are American citizens. They're using a loophole, right? It does say if you're born in America, you are automatically an American citizen. But if I come here illegally and I'm not supposed to be here and I'm not a citizen, now my child gets to be one. It is asinine.
That is a very good point. That's a really good point, Mika. I never even thought of that. Yeah. That's a really
I was just thinking about it one day, right? Because I have so many, my family is mostly, either law enforcement or military. So I have a lot of friends that, are military, and I'm just thinking like, yeah, I have some who may be in the military and they have children overseas, and they're not, they may be like, naturalized and things like that, but they're not American citizens.
Right. No,
they're legal residents and things like that, right? But if you are a U.S. citizen already, then yes, your child is naturally a U.S. citizen.
Right.
So I just really think they're playing with that, right? And I think that's what Trump was getting at. Like we have to when he said amend it, I think he means to give it some more verbiage, right? Because they didn't anticipate people just coming over here and saying, yeah, well, I'm here illegally, but my baby's gonna be born here, and so right. And so because when you think about it, there's there's tons of people that will do that, and it's not just people from south of the border. I mean, everywhere.
Right. These
they'll fly here.
They're coming from all over the place.
Tons of places. They'll fly here and they'll have a kid.
Yeah.
And now they have an American citizen.
Yeah.
Right. But they're trying to make it like it's racist. But I want to get into this this report about 9 years ago by Al Jazeera on Barack Obama and what the president was saying, what President Trump was saying about Barack Obama, and what was actually true when it came to immigration. All right, so here we go.
I don't have any sound.
You can't hear it?
Right. Correct. I can't hear it.
You can or can't?
Cannot.
You can't hear it? Oh, let's see.
Yeah, mute it and then unmute it, because that actually literally happened to me yesterday.
Let's see. Can you hear now?
Oh.
Oh, okay. I see. All right, let's try this again. Here we go. Can you hear now?
One of the many criticisms of Donald Trump centers on his pledge to deport, to forcibly relocate all 11 million undocumented immigrants in the US in his first 2 years in office. But remember, this is how he defended that odious policy in the second presidential debate.
Nobody knows about it. Nobody talks about it. But under Obama, millions of people have been moved out of this country. They've been deported.
Now, annoyingly, got a point, kind of. The truth is that the Obama administration has deported 2.5 million undocumented immigrants from the United States over 2 terms. 2.5 million. That's the highest number for any president ever. In fact, Obama is on course to have deported more people in his 8 years in office than all of the presidents of the 20th century combined. I guess that explains why his immigration enforcement budget in 2015 was a whopping $18 billion. That's $3 billion more than the budgets of all the other major domestic law enforcement agencies combined. Now, the Obama administration says the vast majority of the people it deports are people with criminal records, felons, threats to national security, which sounds reasonable, except that a study in 2014 found that 2/3 of deportation cases involve people who had committed minor infractions, including traffic violations, or had no criminal record at all.
So I thought this was ironic, all right, because as you can see that up on the screen, and you guys can see that it says Obama, the deporter in chief, right? But I thought it was ironic, right? And I really wanted to bring it up because this is exactly what Donald Trump is talking about right now. And they're acting so outraged. And even in Trump's first term, he still hasn't deported more.
Right.
Or done half or a quarter of what Barack Obama did. Okay. And like I keep saying, because people like to argue this with me, I am part of the Hispanic community. And I'm telling you, he is the deporter in chief and probably will be unless Trump really does, this deportation plan.
Well, I'm hoping that Trump will take the crown. I will say that. But yeah, I actually knew that from Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan was on, I want to say, the Breakfast Club, and he had said that Obama was the deporter in chief, but that probably was like one of the good things that he did. I mean,
I have no problem with it. I actually,
you're calling out the hypocrisy.
It's just I don't like the hypocrisy of like, oh my God, mass deportations, and this is saying that. And so when they say, "Oh my God, you're saying you're gonna do, you're gonna start with people that are criminals, but you're gonna round up just regular people." Well, Barack Obama did,
right?
See, y'all swear that he is the man. Why can't Trump do what Barack did?
Yeah, he should. He's the president. I'm with it, but no, Trump can't do anything. He can't pardon anybody. He can't deport anybody.
Remember, I said that at the beginning, right? He can't pardon nobody, but Joy Reid could say, and
he better not put any tariffs. Those tariffs, oh my gosh, you're gonna bankrupt the country if we have tariffs. Oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, that's where most of our stuff used to come from. Tariffs. Like, y'all crazy.
But the American citizens are gonna have to pay for it, Mika. The Americans are paying it, and they're gonna pay for these tariffs.
And then they're like, well, it's gonna cost Americans $80 million. What is it costing them right now?
Girl, I'm so tired of hearing about tariffs. I don't know
what is it costing Americans right now. Y'all can barely buy eggs. Y'all making 6 figures and y'all can't afford eggs.
Girl, I just never heard so much about tariffs until this election. And it kills me because I'm like, y'all know we still got the same tariffs that he put in when he was we still got what if they were so bad?
Joe Biden didn't move 1 iota on them tariffs.
Girl, I'm just they get on my nerves with that tariff.
You know why? Because they work.
Right.
And you know why? Why Donald Trump didn't remove Barack Obama's immigration stuff? Because it worked.
No, they kill me. They kill me with that stuff.
And he also spoke on DACA on that interview. And he said, hey, a lot of those people aren't, little kids anymore. They're like middle-aged people, like they're like in their late 30s and middle 40s, they're part of the, millennials / Gen X generation, right? So, you know, I get it. They're probably working and this and that and the third. Yeah. If they are, you know, being members of society, okay, cool. You still gonna have to take this test, my G.
This is the thing. They ran amok. I stand on that. This administration made it bad for the illegals that came here, that really minded their business, kept their nose clean.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what
But you notice that even illegals, they recognize that. They said a lot of them were on camera. I was shocked. But a lot of them were on camera saying that. They were like, you know, oh, well, you don't think Donald Trump is he's going to start with the criminals.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them really was like, look, I don't be doing nothing.
Yeah.
Why would he come knock at my door first? I don't be doing nothing.
He is going to start with the criminals first.
Yeah. Those will be the last of the last. And I doubt in 4 years he'll be getting to them. But if they're productive members of society, okay, maybe fine. We don't drag you back to your country unless you can't pass that test, unless you don't speak no English, unless you don't know nothing about America and you've been here 15, 20 years.
Right. Yeah. And if they get deported, then they get deported. They know they broke the law. If I broke the law,
that's why I love my man that spoke to MSNBC. He said, look, he's like, what if you get deported? He said, I get deported. Yeah. Yeah, she was like, you still voting for Donald Trump? He's like, you see.
Wait, how did he vote if he was illegal? Oh, he basically snitched on himself.
You, they were on camera.
I that's crazy.
In my video.
Yeah,
he
were
on camera talking like this. I said, yo, what's wrong with y'all? But
no, he gotta go. He gotta go.
It was great to see. It was great to see, right? Because at the end of the day, but it's not his fault that states like Oregon and California, you know, have these laws where you don't ask for ID, you don't ask for any type. It's not his fault at all.
No.
I don't even blame him because I'm telling you, most people will come and take advantage of something that can benefit them. It is what it is. And it's up to our leaders to stop that nonsense. But you know, when they don't, and this is what we end up with. And that's why I couldn't understand why anybody, and I do mean anybody, would vote for Kamala Harris when, you know, they knew that, you know, she was doing all this nonsense, you know.
Right.
But I just, you know, I just really, when it comes to Donald Trump, I just really think it's all Trump derangement. They don't really have anything, and they just want something to squawk about. And I'll give you the last word on that, 100%. And then we'll move on.
100%.
So, okay. So now I want to move on to just that, some Trump deranged people. All right. Okay. I want to move on to our friends at The View. Okay. Our friends at The View decided they were going to, you know, weigh in on Trump's Meet the Press interview. So I want to play that, and then we shall come back and talk about our Golden Girls.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yesterday, you know who was on Meet the Press, where he talked about the crimes surrounding the January 6th Capitol riots, and he's still claiming that he's the real victim here. Take a look.
I think those people committed a major crime. Sir. And Cheney was behind it. Well, and so was Benny Thompson and everybody on that committee. For what they did, honestly, they should go to jail.
You promised to pardon those who attacked the Capitol on January 6th. Are you still vowing to follow through with that promise?
We're looking at it right now, most likely, yeah. They've been in there for years, and they're in a filthy, disgusting place that shouldn't even be allowed to be open.
For the sake of unifying this country, will you concede the 2020 election and turn the page on that chapter?
No. No, why would I do that? But let me just tell you, when you say the country is deeply divided, I'm not the president. Joe Biden's the president, and he has been a divider. And you know where he divided it more than anything else, and it probably backfired on him, I think definitely, is weaponization. When he weaponized the Justice Department and he went after his political opponent, me.
So jailing the January 6th committee members doesn't count as weaponization of the Justice Department? Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious, what law did they break? I mean, what law did they break? They did their job. Yeah. They did the investigating. They talked to all the people they felt were involved. So where did they break the law?
They didn't break the law.
Okay.
So before we get into our favorite black, non-black lawyer on the panel, I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts real quick.
Okay, this was my initial thought. Donald Trump, why are you doing this interview? Why are we doing Meet the Press? I look, we are the media now, Mika. We are the media. The 2028 debate, I do not want to see anybody on ABC. I don't want to see Lindsay whatever and David Murray. You know who I want to see moderating? I want to see Anton Daniels and Mika. That's who needs to be moderating that debate. Okay. I don't think
anyone is moderating nothing.
Hey, that's who needs to be moderating it. Because on friggin' Meet the Press, nobody, it's lamestream media, it's fake news, nobody's watching it anymore. Your ratings are in the crap. Why is he not doing this interview on, I don't know, Benny Johnson? Or you want to go on a liberal, no, because the liberals that they've been dominating media for the last 12 years or whatever.
Right, but there's some good, it's not many. But there are some good liberal independent ones, right? The mainstream, no.
We've had enough of them. We've had enough of them. Go on Benny Johnson. Go on friggin' Candace. Go on. I'd love to see this interview on Alex Jones. Take it back to Theo Vaughn. Take it to Joe Rogan. I'm tired. I'm done.
To anybody but the mainstream. I think Trump's mind with it is always, he's open to going to places that don't necessarily agree with him.
He will go anywhere, but this is what I'm saying. No one's watching Meet the Press anymore. Why do they get to have these ratings? Because Trump is the draw. Why do they get to have these ratings when they have been lying?
I don't know. Even News Nation said that. They were like, what?
They said that?
Yeah, News Nation was like, it's a little strange.
I'm on the money. Because I've been with my stuff with the Jay-Z stuff I've been covering. I didn't even know that. But yeah, go. I'm done with mainstream media. I'm done with them. And most of America is Trump is the draw. I don't feel like he needs to be fattening their pockets and any of that. So that's just my opinion on it. But as far as what, because you asked me a question, I'm sorry, I went off a little bit on a tangent there.
Okay, go ahead.
Bring it back in. As far as Whoopi, these people are so deranged. We just saw earlier in this show, Joy Reid saying, well, the president has the right. Well, he can't pardon. He can't pardon. Well, it's okay that Joe Biden pardoned because I'm glad he pardoned his son. Blah, 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 blah. Well, Trump has the right to pardon the J6 protesters, which, by the way, a lot lot of them weren't even there. Weren't even there. Were our actual real.
I don't even know how that happened. That's where I think Trump might have a actual case. Like, how do you do that? How do you get people that weren't there? Right? Okay, I get you don't like the Proud Boys, but how they weren't there?
If you was in there and you weren't the ones that did the obscene stuff, because it was some people that did some obscene stuff. Like he always said, it's going to be a case by case basis. If you were, if you walked in there, you didn't break the law, you didn't do anything.
Yeah, walking up there, it's public grounds. That's not breaking the law.
These people a lot of them are true political prisoners, and we saw the whole friggin' thing with the whole investigation when we know it was FBI agents.
Don't tell the liberals that. They're like, it's conspiracy. Well, so was JFK, so was Martin Luther King, so was Malcolm X. All of it is conspiracy.
Well, I'm not making a conspiracy because when they had the hearings, they asked.
I'm saying that the mainstream liberals will say, it's all.
They're wrong. Yeah, they don't.
Well,
know
they're always wrong
because we got on that.
They're always wrong.
When I found out the hearings and they asked him were there FBI agents in the crowd, he said I can't answer. So that tells me yes. And they confirmed.
My man said it should have been a no.
And they confirmed one guy. They showed they
yeah.
one guy. So
his last name Epps.
Thank you. Scooby knowing this stuff, girl.
Yep. If you want to look it up, guys, his last name is Epps. Yeah, FBI agent. Yeah, they showed his picture, his videos, everything to the FBI director, and the FBI director was like, "Yeah, I can't confirm." But yeah, so we're gonna just hear really quick what Trump deranged Sonny has to say.
I just was checking because, stuff changes so quickly.
They didn't break the law. And that's, I think, what's scary. Former Representative Liz Cheney, who we know was a significant part of the committee, said this: there is no conceivably appropriate factual or constitutional basis for what Donald Trump is suggesting, a Justice Department investigation of the work of a congressional committee. And any lawyer who attempts to pursue that course would quickly find themselves engaged in sanctionable conduct. And those sanctions against an attorney can be as small as a fine, but can go as far as taking away your law license. And so I think that, he's saying these things in practicality, that should not happen. But I think we do need to be very clear-eyed about what he is saying. He is going to look into pardoning people that participated in an insurrection and even those who admitted to assaulting police officers. Okay, that's very important. And so we've been talking about this issue of pardoning people on the January 6th committee, even though they did not commit any crimes. I think that that's important. I think that they should have that in their safe deposit box just in case, because he's looking at Adam Schiff, who participated in impeachments. He's looking at Liz Cheney. He's looking at Adam Kinzinger. And I can't imagine that he won't try to weaponize the Justice Department when
he can weaponize that all he wants. If there's no crime there, there's no crime there. Like, I don't understand.
You mean like they did on Donald Trump for the last 4 years?
Where they literally found something.
I mean, 4 years. Was it 8 years? Excuse me.
Yeah, where they literally found something like, he something with his bookkeeping. What?
Child, everything that they came at Trump did, Joe Biden did. Joe Biden had stuff at his house in Delaware.
They said, but when they asked, Joe Biden gave it back.
By the way, yeah.
So he gave it back, but he had it at his house, which means it was a crime, right? Oh, okay. All right.
Oh, and the only reason they didn't prosecute him is because they thought he was too old and senile. I don't know.
Right. He's what, 4 years older than Trump?
Not even. Is it that old? I thought it was like 2 years. I don't know.
Okay, 2 years.
It may be 4 years. It may be 4 years.
So Trump is not old and senile.
Right.
But
yeah. When I looked that up, you could have bought me for 2 cents. And I looked at, I saw that, I read that on Wikipedia. Like it was
the hypocrisy of it all. When I tell you, it kills me, the hypocrisy of it all, because the mainstream media, right, will have you believe that Donald Trump is such a monster. Right. And when you look at all of this stuff, right, because she goes on, the other lady over there that swears she's an independent. One.
I know who you're talking about. I watched. She's a game show host on the Chase. I watched.
Oh, she is. Yeah, I never knew who she was.
She ruined the game show for me. To be honest with you,
I bet you did, because she be on here just flipping and flip.
It's kind of like,
she goes on and says, yeah, and because he just does things, and he doesn't know what he's talking about. I mean, they don't actually have something concrete on Donald Trump and why they don't like him.
It's propaganda. This is straight up propaganda. Like straight up, like old timey propaganda that we learned about in school.
So as we wind down here, I wanted to show you this really quick before we move off of politics. So I wanted to play this video from Sky News. Like, I love Sky News. Like, I'm so upset that I have to watch Australian news. Okay.
I like that Rita lady. She's pretty good.
Oh, the lefties losing it is my joint. She's been like, what about the lefties losing it? Here they go. But this was Kamala's campaign manager and what he had to say about why they skipped the process of the people and given them a primary and why they installed Kamala. Here we go.
Okay.
But to open up a Democratic primary, you would have had Black women, who were the strongest voting bloc for Kamala Harris, be highly upset if it was not Kamala Harris.
Brad, is that not?
Did you hear that?
No, rewind it.
Here we go.
Would have been upset.
But to open up a Democratic primary, you would have had Black women, who were the strongest voting bloc for Kamala Harris, be highly upset if it was not Kamala Harris.
Brad.
Wow. Well, okay. So let's think for a second here, because I know you're going to ask me what my thoughts are. So the smallest, one of the smallest demographics of the population.
Yes.
A subset of that population, because now we're Black people, 13% of the population. We're going to cut that in half to women. We're going to cut that even down more to women that actually vote. For those Black women, we're going to completely bypass the American process, which is the democratic process, which is an open election. That's what we're doing now? Okay. Yeah. I'm a Black woman. I'm okay with it. I'm foundationally Black. I feel like, no, I'm not a registered Democrat, but I feel like that was insulting towards Black women, because I think Black women, even though I don't agree with liberal Black women, I don't agree with Democratic Black women, I don't think that they are so deranged and delusional where they would expect that they would expect to bypass an election. I really don't think that. I mean, it's never been done before. Why would they be so entitled to think that, oh, well, if he's stepping down, it should automatically be the vice president? Now, if he was chapter chapter 25, whatever it is, where, then yeah, okay. If he stepped down out of office due to mental capacities or whatever the case may be, and then decided to have an open election, yeah, of course, I think America would have a problem with that, because she is the vice president. She would have been next in line. But we're talking about for a presidential election, I think majority of people would have completely understood you have to have an open election for a presidential race. Like, that's, I don't know, that was a crazy statement to make. That was crazy. I'm sorry, that was wild.
That was her campaign manager.
And now we see why she lost. Like,
yes.
Yeah, you got some bad people on your team. That was bananas. That was
First off,
and to this day, hold on, Mika. To this day, I don't know why they did like that. That was crazy. Like, I will never forget this as long as I live. Like, I still don't know why they did that. But go ahead.
First of all, I have my first disagreement here with you.
Okay.
I do think they're Trump deranged enough to support it. Maybe not all of them, but a lot of them. Meaning, there were so many Black liberal women that I talk to when I say, and I'm speaking up for them, okay? Because I'm not voting for Kamala, so I really don't care. It's actually great because I knew Kamala was stupid. So I'm speaking up for them, and they're like, oh no, we had to do that.
You're right. You're right.
I'm like, are you nuts?
You're right.
Because what you do is you're setting up to where, just like with Biden's pardons, where somebody else can use the same tactic, right? It's almost like free speech. You guys don't like it when it's free speech you don't like, right? But you have to protect even the speech you don't like. I'm okay with people saying whatever about Donald Trump, because at the end of the day, I want people that support Donald Trump to be able to say what they want. If we silence one side, that can later be us.
100%. They don't get that though. But yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm like, you only now they don't like Donald Trump, but guess what Donald Trump is using now? He will be able to dismiss his cases because he's able now to use the president's pardon to say, see, even the president of the United States thought exactly what we've been arguing this whole time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It makes absolutely no sense why you would do that. Now, I know Joe Biden don't give a damn. He don't care for none of these people. And he's just like, I'm gonna kick the can, and I really don't care. Right? He got the one thing under his belt that he's okay with, and is that he's the only person that beat Donald Trump. He gonna be at all the barbecues till he dies. Somewhere. I beat Donald Trump.
Yeah, with those 88 million votes.
Yeah. Child. You got more votes than the first quote unquote Black president. Joe Biden, whose hair is blowing whimsically in the breeze this weekend. Did you see that? His little hair was just a blowing. He looked like, you remember Edward Scissorhands?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hair that's sticking up. He looked like that this weekend when he was lighting the tree.
I haven't seen
I
it.
couldn't even listen to what he was saying because I was looking at his hair. Right? This man looked out of his mind.
Hold on. Hold the phone, Mika. He was outside lighting a tree and didn't have a hat on. As old as he is. This as old as he. Come on.
It was elderly abuse.
You right. He ain't no way in the world he's supposed to have that bald head outside with no hat on. When you take a
he was like, look, by the way, I don't have a hat.
I can't believe he went out there and didn't have no hat on. As old as he is, his health problem. That's crazy. Look, I'm shocked now. I'm shocked.
Whoa, yeah. I'll stop messing with that man.
I'm just, anytime you take a baby out the house, you put a hat on him. Shut up. Because they fragile. It's a baby. He's an old man. He need to have that hat on that bald head. I'm shocked by that.
You keep the heat in that way.
It was cold over the
weekend. Let me go over there and get Joe.
I can't believe
elderly abuse
Jill ain't on
going through.
Jill is slipping. She should have put a hat on that old man. I don't know what she's thinking. That's crazy.
Jill, like, girl, I'm tired. You do it.
Get that man a daggone friggin' Canada Goose hat.
We ain't right. I don't care.
Monster hat. It's cold out here.
Oh my gosh. So, all right. Last but not least, I wanted to get into our collective favorite when it comes to, I'm speaking like, what's his name? Maury Povich. When it comes to, you know how he talks slow? When it comes to 12-month-old. All right. So when it comes to our favorite Trump deranged person, Angela Rye. Okay. So on her podcast, I think this was Friday, I want to say, she just cannot let it go. All right. She can't do like Frozen. Just let it go. All right. She can't do it. She decided to talk about her friends partying again. Okay. And it was funny because she got into a little bit of stuff talking to Andrew. Now, I don't know why I didn't know and why I didn't pick up on it, but this is Andrew Gilliam, okay, who also felt like he was done wrong by the DOJ. So that is the whole basis why I'm even showing this, because when they get into it, he's saying he's done wrong and she starts naming other people and it's crazy. So I'll go ahead and let you guys hear it, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
I want to talk about Joe Biden, who has said repeatedly he would not pardon Hunter Biden. He has now pardoned Hunter Biden. And so my focus group question is not being in public. My focus group question is, do y'all think he's wrong for that? I don't. I'm just curious to know that. And then I want to get into who else should be pardoned.
I don't think he's wrong for that. I think any parent would have pardoned their children if in the same position. You know, I would pardon you guys. I would pardon your parents. I would pardon your kids if I had the power of the pen to do that. I wouldn't fall, no matter what side of the divide this is. I would understand any parent pardoning their child. But I think the subtext here is what they were accusing Hunter Biden of was some bullshit at the end of the day. Like this was, you know, political theater put on by the Republican Party. It is not analogous to the Mueller report or, you know, the impeachment hearings. Like this was a very, it was a witch hunt. And so I don't really.
A witch hunt in Joe Biden's administration, but I digress.
I think putting a lot of this emphasis on Hunter Biden's pardon, quite frankly. Somebody tweeted, I can't remember who it was. It was like the executive director of Pointer, I think. Somebody tweeted and said, no matter how you feel, or posted, I should say, because it wasn't on Twitter, but no matter how you feel about the Hunter Biden story, it certainly is not the biggest story this week. And I just think that's a big part of it. Like, why are we even talking about, yeah, he pardoned his son. Anybody's going to do that. Like, okay, he did it next. Let's think about all of the craziness coming out of the Trump administration. But in the echo chambers, all you heard about was this Hunter Biden.
No, anybody's not going to do this. He is the first president in United States history that has pardoned their child, but I digress.
Biden pardon. So no, I don't think he was wrong at all.
Let me ask you this, because there are folks who are feeling somewhat frustrated because when they have sought pardons for people who are equally deserving, this administration has been silent. One of them is a case that we're very familiar with and close to is our friend Marilyn Mosby. And my biggest gripe here is not that he pardoned Hunter Biden. Again, Tiff, to your point, I would have agreed and done the same thing. It is the fact that the same prosecutor who was attached to and prosecuted and was on a witch hunt against Maryland is the same prosecutor who was assigned to the Hunter Biden case. This man's name is Leo Wise. Y'all should look him up. We talked about it on the podcast prior. Before I go down my rabbit hole, Andrew, I want to hear where you're at on this.
Well, can I before you answer, Andrew, can I ask Angela a quick question? Because we love, you know, Marilyn, obviously, you know, we know her personally, but what does, because she didn't serve prison time. So if you can just remind us what is her current punishment, I guess, and why a pardon matters for her.
So Marilyn Mosby is currently on house arrest. She is someone who is in the carceral system still. She has to check in with a probation officer. She has to follow a curfew. She has a job offer that, you know, she was really excited about that she's not been able to take because it requires some travel. Her law license is still on the line. The forfeiture of her property, the properties that she purchased, still on the line. She had to sell one. There's another one that is potentially in jeopardy because of this conviction. And so there is so much on the line. Just because you didn't actually go to jail doesn't mean that you're not in the carceral system. And I will tell you guys, the other thing that is a little troubling for me, and this is where I, like many of the others who are frustrated by Joe Biden's hypocrisy on this, is not that he said he wouldn't. I don't know why he said that he wouldn't to begin with. Pardon Hunter Biden. But what they did say at the White House in our conversations is that they would not get involved before the full trial was over, before the sentencing of Marilyn Mosby. They would not get involved. Guess who hasn't been sentenced?
Hunter Biden.
Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
So I just need to understand what it is. If you say, well, you know, we would get involved, but y'all didn't turn in a pardon application. Okay, we turned in a pardon application. Well, we wouldn't get involved, but she hasn't been sentenced yet. Okay, now she's been sentenced. What is the holdup now? Because it's the same person. In fact, the same argument that Joe Biden used in his statement about why he wanted to pardon Hunter Biden is because of selective prosecution. That is what we argued in the Marilyn Mosby case. It's the exact same thing. And so my issue is
what my lawyer argued in mine.
Exactly. It's the same unit, right? There are folks right now, Chokwe Lumumba, who's being targeted by this same Department of Justice, same agents that were involved in Andrew's case. Over and over again. It's the same thing. And so
Mayor of Jackson, Mississippi.
Yes.
Black mayor of Jackson, Mississippi.
Criminal. Surprise, surprise. So we keep going through this same thing. And Marilyn Mosby is an example of a larger issue with the justice or the injustice system and the carceral system. It has to be fixed. And if Joe Biden, who is responsible for authoring the crime bill, cannot see the issue here. He's already said, we're going to pardon some marijuana offenses. Pardon all of them, all nonviolent drug offenses, period. Do you know 44% of those incarcerated in federal prison are drug-related offenses? Pardon these folks. Some of this is the vestige of your work. And it can't just apply to your son. You can't just have compassion in your heart for your son who struggled with addiction. There are many people who struggle with addiction who have lied on applications or who stole because of their addiction. You have to have compassion for all these people.
Yeah. When you mentioned the drug system and almost half.
I said, because I was just like, man.
Ciao. Okay. First of all, chat, give my girl Mika a heart in the comments. Comment, because Mika sat through that whole podcast to find y'all the good stuff for us to talk about. I don't know how you did it, friend. Hats off to you. So chat, give my girl her props. Okay, because I got notes. That's what I was writing. I was right because they was saying a whole lot. I actually agree with Angela Rye on the part about,
that's what
about the marijuana drug offenses. I will say
about Joe Biden's crime bill.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I do agree.
But
with
she's
that.
disingenuous.
Oh, she's 100% disingenuous because you opened up talking about your thug friend Marilyn Mosby. Y'all are a bunch of thugs, a bunch of I don't know too many people that look. That Marilyn Mosby is a whole lawyer. What was she, district attorney or attorney general for Maryland? I can't remember which one. I get them confused. Was a whole
is she what?
I don't know if she was a district attorney or a
district attorney.
Okay, for Maryland. This woman lied
for Baltimore.
Documents, said that she didn't have was trying to get a house, said, "Oh, well, I just signed. I didn't read it. My husband just told me to sign. I didn't know what I was signing," claiming that she was it's a mess. Claiming that
she claimed that she was working remotely down in Florida, and she was still working for. She claimed a hardship that she didn't have. She was still working in Baltimore.
Yes, and this woman, by the way, guys, because maybe y'all don't know, Meek and I are in Maryland. This woman is on the news all the daggone time. She's the friggin' a district attorney. Like it was. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, ma'am, you're a lawyer. I don't think you didn't read a contract for 1 second.
I don't believe it.
But forget that. This woman not even in jail. She's on freaking house arrest. She's not doing hard time. But Angela Rye trying to look out for a thug homie. Okay, that's locked up. Or not locked up. That's at home on house arrest. That woman will be perfectly fine. But once again, like you said, and this the other girl said, well, Hunter Biden, that story, it's not the biggest story in the news. We need to pay attention to all the craziness coming out of Trump's administration.
He's not in yet.
That's what I'm about to say. He ain't even in office. What are you talking about? Oh, but you don't like that people are talking about Joe Biden pardoning his son by the way, it was a blanket pardon. That's what you knuckleheads don't realize. Okay.
You gotta say it right like Joe Biden. And by the way.
Anyways, what is that say? Anyways. But again, I don't care. I'm not mad at the man for pardoning his son. Because yes, I think most of us would have did it. The problem is it was a friggin' blanket pardon. That's and he lied about it. They asked him multiple times, would you pardon your son? You knew daggone well you was gonna do it then, because this is my thing. If he was being prosecuted unjustly, okay, which Donald Trump been saying that all the time, but whatever, forget that part. If he was being prosecuted unjustly, you knew that when he was going through this stuff, but you purposely lied to the American public because you wanted to be reelected. That's it's the lying, I think, for most Americans. But then
most people, even Democrats, are upset not because you pardon your kid, because who actually thought that Joe Biden wasn't going to pardon him after seeing that laptop stuff. Like I knew right then and there.
Really
I said, "Oh, he better pardon him because if not."
Some people they really believed that he was not going to do it. They really true, because I heard him say it, and I believe them because they're naive. They truly believed it. But what Shorty in the purple said, I don't know her name, but she's tripping because she says, "Oh, I would pardon you guys. I would pardon your parents." What? What?
and you know that's what, when I played you The View, that's also what Sonny said.
I wouldn't do that. And here's the thing, and I don't understand this part, but you tend to know more about this. They got all upset with Trump for pardoning some of his homies. Steve Bannon still went to jail, though. He still went to jail.
All of them, all the people that he pardoned went to jail. So, he gave them. So it's so Angela Rye was actually correct with this when she said Joe Biden told her that they can't go to jail. I mean that he won't get involved with the sentencing, right? It has to be after the sentencing. Well, Donald Trump pardoned people after they were already in jail, right? And he he pardoned them for that crime, right? Joe Biden not only protected his son from getting sentenced, he also blanketed anything he had done, past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So that is very different from it's very different from Donald Trump.
Because like I said, I remember Steve Bannon just got out like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Steve Bannon, Roger Stone, all these people went to jail. I'm not thrilled about the Kushner guy, but the Kushner guy even went to jail. Everybody went to jail, right? They had to serve time. He made sure Hunter did not serve time.
Yeah. No, these people,
but she lost it when she said, I like how she kept framing it. Some people, where they get irritated with, Biden is when he says, we'll wait for this and wait for that. I said, girl, why don't you just say it's your friend that you're talking about? Because I don't hear no other people asking for Joe Biden to do nothing but you.
He not gonna pardon none of you Negroes, none of you Negroes friends. I'm not gonna hold you. I would be shocked because they are saying this on mainstream media, but I think it's fake news because Fox News is saying it. They're saying he's gonna pardon what is it, that Liz Cheney and Anthony Fauci, and I'm like, well, they haven't even been charged with anything.
Oh no, I doubt if he does. Joe Biden is going to leave.
But
Joe Biden is going to leave the Democrats out to dry. Mark my words. Yes. I will come back and say I was wrong if I'm wrong, but I am on the side of maybe about 98% that he's going to let Nancy drown. He's going to let Hillary drown. He's going to let Fauci drown.
As he should.
He's going to let Liz Cheney drown.
Because they put him out the pasture, and like Trump said, he really hates her. He does not.
Oh yeah. He don't like me, but he hate her. and did you see Jill?
Oh, I did see Jill at the Kennedy Center. Yes, I saw it. Still giving old girl the cold shoulder as she should.
Right, and then this weekend at Notre Dame in Paris, France, she was chilling and laughing and giggling with Donald Trump, and Donald Trump and used it for an ad. And now everybody mad.
She was smitten, wasn't she?
somebody said Jill trying to get on a good foot, like, because she
wore that MAGA red to go vote.
Look, and this is what we'll end with here. This woman, Kamala, all right, didn't get one vote ever in her life. Okay, she was on a ticket with Joe Biden. They voted for Joe Biden. Nobody voted for J.D. Vance, right? Even though J.D. Vance is great. They voted for Trump.
Yeah.
Right? So they didn't vote for Kamala. Okay. They didn't vote for Tim Walz. They were voting for Kamala, right? Okay. So that woman had not gotten one vote in her life up until this point where they put her there. This is the first time she's ever gotten a vote. She skipped all the processes as she's been doing her entire career. She's been skipping all the processes, and people been putting her there. And she finally got up to a point where it got exposed. The woman is not presidential. She don't know anything. I would vote for tons of different people before I vote for Kamala.
100%.
But they put her there, and they expected Joe Biden to go along with that. Is ridiculous. And then if you go with the other point that some people think that Joe Biden, threw her name out there, and they didn't really, Barack Obama and them didn't really want. Now, I know Barack Obama didn't. And Nancy Pelosi was the one that put Kamala there. But I knew Barack Obama didn't, because Barack Obama knew she was dumb.
There was a report where he said that he didn't think that she could beat Trump. It was in like the New York Post or Newsweek or something. Yeah, that
you knew the cackling hen wasn't gonna be able to beat no Donald Trump. The woman, all she do is giggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Like there's nothing. She always say he's an unserious candidate, ma'am. That is you. You're highly unserious. You don't talk about anything. You circumvent everything. Somebody has to tell you when to do it. The 32, when she did the 32, I said, y'all have to see right here that this woman is unserious. 32 days.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because the teleprompter went out. She didn't know what to say.
I've watched enough of Kamala's speeches. I could have did the speech.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So how are you the actual candidate and you can't do some of the speech until it comes back?
You and I are better orators than her, period. Like that's
I'd have been up there like, this is a campaign of joy. This is a new way forward. Girl, I know them all because I didn't watch it. I could improvise. So this is what you normally say. How is it that you can't improvise any of that? Y'all are Trump deranged on Trump. Come up with something. Oh, Project 2025. Like y'all could have came up with all types of stuff. That woman doesn't know how to speak at all.
No.
And I'll give you the last word.
I don't have anything else to say about it. I think that again, hats off to you for going through that podcast. Those people, Andrew Gilliam, you need to relax because you wasn't even unfairly prosecuted because she talking about
he said that's what happened in my case.
Hey, sir, if you wasn't Andrew Gilliam, you would have got locked up for being in that.
You should have been locked up.
You would have been locked up for being in that friggin' hotel room, cheating on your wife with a man with all those drugs in that room.
All the sheets was atrocious.
Tore that hotel room up like it was friggin' Aerosmith was in there. Andrew Gilliam, you lucky. Oh no, man, and Marilyn Mosby's.
That's exactly what it like when the Rockers back in the day used to do trash in hotels.
That's why I said Aerosmith. That hotel room was crazy in there. I don't know what.
You remember when Selena's father came and saw that, and it was like, he was like, we pay for everything. He's off the tour. He's off the tour.
No, that was left that room. It was off the chain in there. Look, all three of y'all are menaces.
All three of y'all. All three of y'all. You ain't pulling up. I'm pulling up on you, nigga. We talking about you. Okay, we talk about you, Angela Rye and Andrew Gilliam. All of you. That podcast is a trip, and if you want a good laugh, go ahead and watch it. But I'm telling you guys that the stuff they be talking about on there, it's just. It's a disgrace because it doesn't help anybody, and it goes to show you that they feel entitled, and the only reason they're not blasting Biden right now is because they want something from him. But the moment he's out that office, best believe he's gonna be blasted. Okay, so if I was Biden, I wouldn't do anything for them either.
Look,
Because I already know how this is gonna go down.
They carried
Okay.
him. They carried him real bad. No.
Yeah. So, well, it has been a fantastic hour and 30, but every good thing must come to an end. I always enjoy, sipping on Red Cup with Kelly here because even though, we can laugh and giggle about some of this stuff is just atrocious. Like the things that you have to deal with when you should have honest politicians, when you should have just honest, good people. It's crazy. But nevertheless, we're here, talking about it. We're gonna sip on it and pour it up every time because this is what this podcast is about. So again, I want to thank everyone for watching. I want to thank everyone that tunes in, that donates, that comments, that got us to basically 5,300 subscribers in such a short time here on YouTube. I just want to thank everybody, and I'm always appreciative. As I always say, there are definitely ways to support. And again, ways to support me is $ officially Mika at Cash App or in the super chats or in the super things. Thank you, Kelly, for coming on as usual. And again, I love and appreciate everyone for watching. It's your girl Mika, and I'm out.
Bye.